Hi, and welcome to Chapter 3. Chapter 3 deals with intervals. An interval is the relationship in pitch between two tones. What we're really doing is measuring musical distance. Scales, which we did in the last chapter, are patterns of musical distance. These patterns of distance become melody and harmony. It's vital to understand intervals, both orally and visually, to understand melody and harmony. So scale degrees and intervals. When we sing in this class, we're going to be singing on numbers. In chorus, you sing do, re, mi, which is called solfege. In my theory class, we're going to be singing on numbers 1, 2, 3. This really helps in the comprehension of intervals. First, we're going to be talking about the distance. The distance from C to D, for example, is a second. You count the C, you count the D, 1, 2. The distance between C to E, 1, 2, 3, it's a third, and so on and so forth. So we have unisons, seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, sevenths, and an octave. An octave is the distance from one C to the next C. So it's not just enough to have unisons, meaning the same note, seconds, thirds, fourths, etc. They have a quality, and the qualities are perfect, major, minor, augmented, and diminished intervals. So we have some perfect intervals and we have some imperfect intervals. A perfect interval is a unison, a fourth, a fifth, or an octave. That is it. So in a major scale, these intervals are perfect. So if I'm in the key of C major, C to F, that's a perfect fourth. They are called perfect because in medieval and Renaissance music, they were the only intervals considered suitable for a momentary or permanent stopping places in music, also known as cadence, which we'll get to in a later chapter. But there's another reason why these intervals are perfect, which we will get to in about 5 minutes. So C to F. If you're in the key of C major, there's a C and there's an F, because we know our key signatures, it's going to be perfect. If I have C to G, it's going to be perfect because it's a fifth, and unisons, fourths, fifths, and octaves are perfect. Imperfect intervals. It's really everything else. A second, a third, a sixth, a seventh, okay? In a major scale, these intervals will always be major. So if I'm in C major, from 1 to 6, or C to A will always be a major sixth. That's a sixth, and it's a major sixth because I'm playing a C to an A. If I'm in the key of B flat major, 2 flats, and I want to go from B flat to G, B flat 1, C 2, D 3, E flat 4, F 5, G 6, there we have another major sixth. When I take an interval and turn it upside down, meaning if I had B flat to G, now I want the G on the bottom and the B flat on top, I have now flipped it. I also flip the quality. So a major interval will become minor. A minor interval will become major. When we get to augmented intervals, augmented will become diminished. Diminished will become augmented. But holy moly, right here, perfect intervals stay perfect. It's another reason why they're considered perfect. So if I go back to that perfect interval of C to F, that's a perfect fourth. And I flip it and I put the C on top now, I have a perfect fifth. The other thing to know about inversions, which is really pretty cool, and let me just get my little handy dandy to be able to write on it. Okay. The other thing that's really important to know is that the intervals have to add up to 6. So if I have a fourth, it flips to become a fifth. Oh my gosh, it equals 9. The other example that I just did, the B flat to the G, that was a sixth. When I flip it over, I have G to B flat. It's a third. Okay, so everything will always add up to 9, which is pretty cool. Okay. The next video will be continuing with augmented and diminished intervals.